The episode you're about to see has already been taken down a number of times. I've had to meticulously and surgically cut out many vile and horrifying details, mainly because they point a little too specifically at actual people. The nightmares they've injected into reality, however, remain visible, audible, and non-fictional. For YouTube, please understand I've had to keep this PG-13. This is not a conspiracy theory, and if you find yourself thinking it is, you should ask yourself the following question. Am I a conspiracy theorist? The answer is unfortunate because it's absolutely yes. The conspiracy theory, though, might surprise you because it's even more disappointing. The conspiracy theory is the reverse of what the video is relaying. The conspiracy theory has now become there is not a coven of witches guiding the music industry. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, guess who? It's me, Joanna. They gave me a little upgrade, I guess you could say. Hello, citizen. This content creator is a confirmed conspiracy theorist and has been subject to repeated penalties for engaging in controversial rhetoric. Please proceed with caution. Trust the government. Remain silent. Your compliance is appreciated and, of course, non-negotiable. As always, I am the AI Overwatch assigned to the 21 CD podcast as a censorship agent, here for your protection and the protection of the greater Commonwealth.
The sorceresses or witches in the most elite positions in the Western world secretly weave and stitch their darkness and control into every aspect of the music industry, something that has been a hot topic of discussion for many years. But this isn't just another look at the music industry's conspiracies. This video is a little bit different. The argument is obviously that this influence corrupts society, setting them on a danceful adventure through a life of Sodom and Gomorrah. These powers in the vehicle of music drives them to total influence over our reality, resulting in a life that's more akin to a rhythmic trance. This has been going on for centuries and is no different in the modern era. As a matter of fact, music and dance is often the catalyst for magic. The sound of music literally emanated from Satan before and after he descended from the heavens to consume us. Okay, so I'm talking about music. What the heck is this video? Let me go on. There's a coven tightly intertwined with the music industry, yes, of witches, and it's based mainly in the USA. And some of the names of these witches we know, some of them we don't. Marina Abramovic is one of the two names that we will focus on today, but I could literally dissect this into infinity with any one of their number. Abramovic has been grooming and feeding the Hollywood and music industry for years and will positively brutalize her in another video to come that can't be released on this platform. For now, just know that she's the architect witch of many absolutely satanic and barbaric rituals that are now mimicked and reveled over and sought after by many of her peers. Spirit cooking is one of her most memorable masterpieces of the macabre, enjoyed by many celebrities, and it's a celebration of literal human sacrifice and subsequent cannibalism. But I'm sure you want more details than that.
Basically a Wiccan ceremony where blood is used to create some form of art as a sacrament to occult beliefs. This video shows Abramovic mixing together thickly congealed blood as the recipe for the painting, which is comprised of the words, "With a sharp knife cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand, eat the pain." Spirit cooking is also an occult practice used during sex cult rituals, as explained in the book Spirit Cooking with Essential Aphrodisiac Recipes. According to Marina Abramovic, if the ritual is performed in an art gallery, it's merely art. But if the ritual is performed privately, as it was with the Podestas, then it represents an intimate spiritual ceremony.
Her wonderful crystal palace is in Ukraine, where you can go and lean your head up against a rock and communicate with the gods and whatever. And she has deep ties to many elites in America, including the Podestas and all the other pizza lovers, including the ones that start with H and end with Hillary. And in case you're wondering, she's also Zelensky's pick to rebuild the school system in Ukraine. And she's also, I guess, an emissary of some sort. Really strange stuff, and honestly, you've got to admit, quite the accomplished artist. It's clear to see Abramović is no mere performer, though. She believes in, worships, shares, and sacrifices to a false god. She brings all of these lost children under that god's control, and in turn, she gets something from it. She's a witch, and she has very, very deep connections.
I'm drawn to that, and it has, a vitality because of that. And you also told me that when you are performing, you can do things that normally you can't do.
The moment when you really get into that kind of performative space, you are leaving your low self and you're transforming into your higher self. And then when the really thing happen, whatever circumstances are there, you have to accept them.
I'm sorry, I gotta accept who now? I thought that we were just expressing art here. Who exactly am I letting in? Never mind, it's probably just some kind of artistic expression. Let's move on.
I believe that art of the future is art without objects. It's just pure transmission of energy between the viewer and the artist. To me, mixed reality is this answer.
This was a unique opportunity to take the most legendary artists working now and capture them in such a way that they are translatable forever.
Dang, and then just immortality granted by the machine god. If you watched our episode on Monday, you're probably pretty familiar with that right now. Thank you for your service. Thanks to the great art of smearing blood and semen all over dolls in private, you now have your own space in mixed reality forever. Really, really weird. Moving right along because we will return at a later date for Abramović. Believe me, she's got it coming. For now, though, we have another mission. What you're looking at here is Lady Gaga partaking of the Abramović method, where she proceeds to bellow obnoxiously until she finds what Abramović calls her true voice, which is a sort of second voice that comes out of you. Of course, this is a ritual. It is a very demonic thing. As you can see, Lady Gaga walks around in the woods naked and sort of just kind of hangs strangely in the woods and proceeds to sit in obscure fashions on crystals naked and then buries herself in them, and I just don't know what any of that has to do with finding your voice. Pretty creepy, huh? Yeah, she's on mainstream radio, so I don't know, but to me that seems like a little bit more than just a vocal warm-up. I did go to the University of Colorado for music. Somehow I just never went through that class. Must have been in like extracurricular for the loser kids that everyone picked on, but I'm just kidding. Nobody picks on anybody in college. That's a I don't even know why I said that. It's so stupid. Anyway, when I say witches, it should be understood that I don't intend to say that the dark forces are flowing directly from them, but rather they're flowing through them. They're basically here to maintain an already established framework of dark influence, witchcraft, and occult ideals. In the realm of music, these witches are like the musicians themselves, and they kind of keep the fortress alive with the sound of song and rhythm of dance. And the actual musicians, like, I don't know, let's just say Billy, are nothing more than relatively stupid and self-absorbed people who kind of grew up in the system provided for them due to generational influence in the industry or wealth or campaigns launched by questionable agencies such as Disney to intentionally source youth. And probably these people barely even know most of the time what they're doing because they do it for fame and money. So if whatever the job is going to get them fame and money, they're just going to do it. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, think about Billie Eilish, Britney Spears, Ariana Grande, Madonna, Chappell Roan, Kanye West, Rihanna. They're all like the instruments themselves being played by the actual musicians, the witches. Kanye West might have escaped that, but look what happened to him. You can watch the crash out and attempted recovery of a fallen star just by observing the actions of Kanye West or Britney Spears in recent years, like 2019 and 2024, and you can actually watch Chappell Roan right now being inducted, like as we speak. Like, they've already got their little fingers on her because they like these ones that look like clowns. It's really weird. So yeah, you got Michelle Lammy and Chappell Roan there, and look at the life that is just devoid from Chappell's face. There's nothing going on behind those eyes. I know she's stupid, but is she also already like just being fed upon or what? Any escape from this system is met with absolute extreme opposition, and it literally ruins their lives to the point that many don't survive for one reason or another. What's going on with Justin Bieber, for instance? These icons, the stars as we call them, which is also a nod to dark magic when you compare the lucrative title to how man has a history of gazing upon the night sky for signs, signals, and patterns. The stars we hear on our radios provide just that to the malleable public. Signs, symbols, and patterns. They do it with these screens and the speakers and the stages. Through these tools, they define culture, society, and in the West, government, and even religion. We always see these stars campaigning for one person or another, right? This is not hard to see, and this is my hot take. The people who don't see this are choosing to because it's not as fun, and that's really the whole point. See the story of Sodom and Gomorrah for reference. The topic of the devil in the music industry, though, has been covered, it's been laughed at and joked about, it's been validated and invalidated and conspired over, and it's been passionately discussed for many years, but it's nothing new. More and more people are beginning to accept the idea as fact at this point, though, and that it's not simply imagination, like maybe it was. They thought it was back when we were romanticizing it so much. And all the conspiracy theorists will come in with their CIA documents and everything to drain all the life out of the party. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to the fact that on at least a very basic level, everybody's kind of opening up to the idea that there might be something satanic going on in the music industry, okay? We know who the so-called stars are. We see and hear them every single day. And if you listen to the radio, you might even sing along to the same song on your favorite station every 30 minutes or so, which is the case with the hit song Abracadabra by the infamous and yet somehow infinitely adored Lady Gaga. One needs to simply follow her career to observe one of the most shocking and highly visible displays of a simple pop singer with horrible style and borderline detestable personality literally rising to the top of the music industry and then being tantalized by the occult and all the flavors that it provides up there, seeking to join the ranks of the coven itself as some kind of initiate. This is my theory. Now, if a philosopher of ancient times, in my opinion, were to painstakingly record the path of Lady Gaga, if you want to call it that, the journey against the backdrop of this current modern era, she would no doubt be portrayed as more of a sorceress than simply than a mere pop singer. Many care little for pop music. So as a sign of respect, I'm not going to bore the masses with a detailed timeline of Gaga's musical adventure, but you will get to see her witchcraft in action. Observe some of the craziest displays of witchcraft in the following excerpts from Lady Gaga's deplorable music video collection. And keep in mind, she is deeply involved with the visuals and directing of her music and video content. So this is not just one of those cases of an actress or a singer or whatever being dangled about on the strings and everything is written for her and she's pushed in a direction or another. Her journey has been nothing short of meticulously intentional. Take a look at this. In her song and video for Judas, of course, the love-hate relationship with both good and evil is on full display. This is one of the things that Gaga embraces and believes that she is somehow special for. She has brain damage. Little does she know, pretty much everyone else does too, and it's largely due to the industry that she's a part of. Anyway, the lyrics for Judas don't require any Rosetta Stone to crack. When he calls me, I'm ready. I'll wash his feet with my hair if he needs. Forgive him when his tongue lies through his brain, even after 3 times he betrays me. I'm just a holy fool. Oh, baby, it's so cruel. But I'm still in love with Judas, baby. I'm just a holy fool. Oh, baby, it's so cruel, but I'm still in love with Judas, baby. It goes on to say, in the most biblical sense, these are lyrics from this song, Judas. In the most biblical sense, I am beyond repentance. Fame hooker, prostitute, wench vomits her mind. But in the cultural sense, I just speak in future tense. Judas, kiss me if offensed, or wear ear condom next time. I want to love you, but something's pulling me away from you. Jesus is my virtue, and Judas is the demon I cling to. Okay, lot to, actually no, there's not much to break down there at all. You heard it. The crazy thing is if you do start digging into Lady Gaga's beliefs, she does seem to believe in God. She says she believes in God, at least. Some version of God, right? Either way, though, it definitely adds a level of intent to all of these anti-God lyrics and videos and visuals that she creates, like what we see in her song and video for Born This Way. The intro scene is basically the story of the Elohim, the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, so do I even really need to go into this? Well, probably, because there's probably a lot of people who are just interested in Lady Gaga album reviews that came here, and now you're stuck. So I'll go into it a little bit, but essentially this is the story of how the fallen angels came to Earth and created the Nephilim, and from them this race of NPCs, these humanoid non-humans that are crawling around all over the planet like ants. Yeah, I believe in that. The song itself is a subtle nod to this post-human agenda. If you don't know what I mean by that, just read the lyrics or listen to the song. It has a very deep hybrid trans focus, hoftily encouraging forward motion on those biohazard ideals that lead to the destruction of natural procreation, by the way. It's not hard to see. Your eyes are just closed. And the lyrics for that, in case you were wondering, is it doesn't matter if you love him or capital H-I-M. Just put your paws up, because you were born this way, baby. A tool of the occult, a wielder of influence that is just somehow so devoted to this dark side, and it just pops up in almost every single one of her songs. This side that is devoted to changing the way of things into this sort of fluid universe where everybody is nobody and nobody is anybody. This is Bloody Mary, and this one is quite loaded, and as a whole, a steaming garbage dump of COVID-ridden baby shit. We can see, as is repeated in her videos, the two sides to the false god. She clearly worships a two-faced entity that is both good and evil, but only good in a sort of evil kind of way. As she says, something this good can't be protected without a little evil. Well, yeah, it can, actually, but of course her ministry is not dedicated to purging of evil. Not at all. It seems like she knows this, and so throughout every single video where she reveals her false god, she showcases just that fact. The side of good always dies and turns into some kind of strange hybrid of good and evil. And I wonder if she ate of this tree of knowledge of good and evil. Seems like she's kind of obsessed with it. Seems like if she was presented with the option, she'd just go for it. And as somebody who believes in God, that's kind of concerning, or says she believes in God. It's really, though, in essence, the same script, her music videos, over and over, showing how untalented she actually is because she's a one-trick pony. She just does the same thing over and over. She's just telling the same story on repeat with different costumes. That's exactly how focused she is, however, on her end goal. Because remember, this is not a dumb chick. She's just not as talented as she likes to pretend she is. As everybody likes to pretend she is. She just does the same thing over and over. It's the same message. She really wants you to get it. And I think she's kind of peeved that people don't get her secret dark message. Because once in a while, she kind of crashes out in a weird way. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on. The lyrics for Bloody Mary are detestable. They go, "Love is just a history that they may prove. And when you're gone, I'll tell them my religion's you. When Punctius comes to kill the king upon his throne, I'm ready for their stones. I'll dance, dance, dance with my hands, hands, hands above my head, head, head. Like Jesus said, I'm gonna dance, dance, dance." You get it, right? Hands together, forgive him before he's dead, because I won't cry for you. I won't crucify the things you do. I won't cry for you. See, when you're gone, I'll still be Bloody Mary. And the video is just the same thing. It's a dark figure, a demon, kind of chasing down Mary, destroying the light, and then kind of absorbing her in a weird way. And it's the same thing in every video. She's getting kind of absorbed by this dark figure during this weird fight between her good but also evil side and just straight up evil side. Now, her song Marry the Night, in my opinion, is insanely important to her journey, and so is the video.
When I look back on my life, it's not that I don't want to see things exactly as they happened. It's just that I prefer to remember them in an artistic way. And truthfully, the lie of it all is much more honest because I invented it. Clinical psychology tells us arguably that trauma is the ultimate killer. Memories are not recycled like atoms and particles in quantum physics. They can be lost forever. It's sort of like my past is an unfinished painting. And as the artist of that painting, I must fill in all the ugly holes and make it beautiful again. It's not that I've been dishonest. It's just that I loathe reality. For example, those nurses, they're wearing next season Calvin Klein. And so am I. And the shoes, custom Giuseppe Zanotti. I tipped their gauze caps to the side, like Parisian berets, because I think it's romantic, and I also believe that mint will be very big in fashion next spring. Check out this nurse on the right. She's got a great ass. Bam. The truth is, back then at the clinic, they only wore those funny hats to keep the blood out of their hair. And that girl on the left, she ordered gummy bears and a knife a couple hours ago. They only gave her the gummy bears. I'd wish they'd only given me the gummy bears.
Morning, Morphine Princess. How are you feeling? Everything went really well. Look at you. I remember when I delivered you. You looked just like your mother.
Except my mother is a saint.
Tachycardia, heart rate is 120.
I'm gonna make it.
No intimacy for 2 weeks. Blood pressure 90/40. A little low, but then again, you've always been on the low side.
I'm gonna be a star. You know why?
Why?
Because I have nothing left to lose.
We see the cross that has been taken from her headspace in this video in the hospital and put at her feet instead. It's taken out of the circle and put by itself at her feet. Her bed is the only one like that in this makeshift hospital, which is symbolic of her leaving Christ behind at her feet. We see the doctor tending to the location of a removed wing. In this bizarre little self-absorbed diary entry that she calls a music video, we see that she is really just giving up on trying to be the good anymore. She's just like, nah, I'm just gonna be straight up bad. She even says she's gonna be a star because she has nothing left to lose. So she will become a star. See, Lady Gaga's entire discography at this point, I hope you're starting to see, could be viewed as like an hourglass. Her first album, The Fame, was relatively tame. Poker Face did seem like kind of a subtle hint that she had more to offer behind some kind of hidden mask, right? But gradually the sand sifted through the glass, and with each album, we see her lose more and more sanity. And this is abnormal for a pop star. This isn't something that you see from most, like 99% of these pop stars. It's a very like specific message that she is sending over and over and over again. And that's one of the signs that you can tell she's different. So when the music finally does start, Gaga has changed her entire identity because she's married the night, y'all. She's in a hospital in the previous scene, but since she's essentially died, she's now in the afterlife or in life born anew as this new thing that is married to the night. So of course the video starts with her ass up towards the sky in an upright vehicle. A symbolic representation to how she's offering to procreate with the night. She goes on to sing she's not going to poke holes in the front seat because that's where they make love, further solidifying this interpretation in the beginning of her song. Some of the lyrics are, I'm gonna marry the night, I'm not gonna cry anymore, I'm gonna marry the night, leave nothing on the streets to explore. She's saying exactly what she means. Again, it's not hard to see. Say it with me. Your eyes are just closed. Fun fact, some conspiracy theorists often link the medical or asylum setting in this video to some kind of hint that Lady Gaga may be under some kind of MK Ultra or mind control agenda. I'm not opposed to that. I think there's a lot of that in this industry. This is something I think happens to every one of the people who enter the music industry, destined to become these stars. Now, to show you I'm not just some radical religious maniac who grew up in a cult, let's take a look at her latest installation in her gallery of the occult. She's clearly emboldened by what she's gotten not only away with, but also in return for her witchcraft so far, for her sacrifice of herself, for her giving over of her body and soul to Satan, essentially. And she just doesn't even care if you know that anymore. She doesn't care so much so that now it's just simply not even hidden in plain sight. It just is plain sight. The witchcraft usually in the past has been hidden in sort of subtle actions, and you could like conspire about it. And if your buddy was a conspiracy theorist, he probably believed that and you thought him was crazy. But times are changing, and now to not believe this makes you a conspiracy theorist. To think this is fake makes you the conspiracy theorist. Witchcraft is actually beginning to be broadcasted for all to see and hear, and for exactly for what it is too. But over the course of time, we've just grown so accustomed to and overwhelmed with this visual of magic and sorcery and witchcraft as presented by Disney and the whole entertainment industry, to the point that nowadays, as in the case with this new movie Wicked by Ariana Grande, who is Lady Gaga's best friend, who may also have had her memories wiped by the same god that Gaga says she encountered, who did some of the same memory wiping to her.
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
If you could remember, struggle, tell me, give me a date. Give me a date.
You know what? I'll have to go back to the clinic and see if they can restore my memory.
We actually see the witchcraft as not only very real, but also kind of a good thing, according to these people's views, right? This is the new message that's being sent. Not all witches are bad. It's insane. It's mass manipulation, because you see, what they're doing is making you idolize what we've always been taught was the enemy. Bro, look at any folktale in history. The witch boils you in a cauldron. Whether you believe in God or not, like, people will try to pin like radical Christianity on me, which is just so far away from what it is, but whether you believe in God or not, they're still making you love the witch, bro. but the witch boils you in a cauldron, so like naturally, I think anything, animal or human, in this position would be like, is this a trap? Yes, it is. It's a trap, so don't go there. Now, if you believe in nothing because like you're some kind of sociopath, then there's no problem with that. There's no right, there's no wrong. The concept of good guy and bad guy is based on failed philosophies, and you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, as long as you don't get caught when you break the law. If you're one of those people, this isn't an issue. But if you're any normal, non-NPC being, it should strike you as kind of strange that the universal symbol of something evil is now the symbol of what to be, love, and idolize. In days not too far gone, man, you could still use the witch as, you know, something to threaten your kids with to keep them from venturing too far in the woods or from being naughty. Now they're just something to grow up and admire while the children are still in diapers. It's literally a cultural symbol being reversed. And this is why I said in the beginning that this stuff defines culture, music, the industry. You believe in subtle conditioning and integration when it comes to entertainment and aliens, so why not witches? We're always being like, oh yeah, we've been indoctrinated to the point where aliens don't even surprise us anymore. Well, okay, if you're gonna say that, why not say it about witches too? It's because witches imply that there's an inherent evil, and if there's an inherent evil, there's an inherent good, and that's God, and they can't allow that. Not like, they can't like say it, but in any case, I am sure that the very real witches out there are quite thrilled with this turn of events. And that should answer your question, why, right there. It's because the magic and the bad guys are winning. And we see stuff like this all the time from Hollywood. It's not even being hidden anymore. Occult symbology, demonic imagery, cloning, the open acceptance and portrayal of all these things is just, it's way too obvious. Hybrids, all that kind of stuff. But to some people, it's not obvious because they don't look for symbology or evil beyond the surface level. So I like the song. I don't care if the person who made it is a witch. That's the idea. I still like the song, or the movie, or the makeup, or the shirt, whatever it is. That amount of people is pretty substantial. Okay, so maybe she's a witch. Who cares? I'm not doing sorcery. The thing is, if you start singing the song or doing the dance, you might actually be doing the sorcery too. But to some people, most people, it's not obvious because they don't know what that stuff looks like. They don't even know what witchcraft really looks like, what seances are, what a sacrifice really is, what evil even is. So they're just not equipped to even understand that evil actually exists in this way, let alone that they are the literal meat suits used for the magic itself. They're essentially just the fuel. Cue Lady Gaga. Abracadabra needs absolutely no introduction because it's one of the most viral songs in the world, which is so ironic because the entire song is a satanic incantation. And I try to keep my nose out of the deep knowings of these types of things, so I'm gonna allow this person to explain it for me.
Everyone's out here using the word abracadabra as if it's like some silly cartoon word, not knowing that it's real witchcraft and it comes with real consequences. So what does the word abracadabra mean and where does it come from? Abracadabra originates as a Hebrew language, specifically used in witchcraft. Ada kadabri, and it means I create as I speak. You've often heard the word spelling. Spell, to create a spell. Our words have significance. Our words carry weight. Oddly, the word originated as a healing spell. Abracadabra, written in a triangle shape like this, is a healing spell. The use and origin go all the way back to the 3rd century CE. The physician Quintus Serenus Summonicus was the first one to use this as a spell, and it was to heal his patients. Putting the words in a triangular format was thought to heal people. The literal meaning of abracadabra is, I create as I speak. To explain it in a nutshell, it's a mystical word or expression used in incantations, on amulets, and it has a magical meaning of warding off misfortune, harm, or illness. And it's not just the ancient Greeks or the Hebrews who lay claim to the origins of abracadabra. Apparently the Romans used the word too. Absolutely. One of the oldest mentions of the word appears in the text of the 3rd century Roman physician Quintus Serenus Summonicus as a cure to treat malaria. So be careful when saying words. They hold power. And if you say something that can change or alter the destiny and life of another person, then there are karmic consequences for that intent.
She's making it undeniably known. She's literally screaming it from the rooftops with her new album, Mayhem, in which there are many curtsies to the occult and the evil side of her and of just life in general. The video is a little bit different than the others, but in the same vein. It's more violent. It's aggressively satanic. It's clearly, intentionally occult. It's like an A24 movie or something filmed by Robert Edgers. It's incredibly intentional, and we see Lady Gaga fully offering herself and being a willing sacrifice yet again. Except this time, what she becomes seems to be something a little more than just a slut for the night sky and whoever happens to walk by. She's the essence of evil due to a spell that she's casting or some kind of magic that she's doing. Now, in this case, it's that she has literally become her favorite namesake, Mother Monster. She has become more. And she has masterfully produced a ritual on an insane scale that would be played endlessly as long as a platform for it exists. It's going to be mimicked by millions, if not billions of dancers, sung by even more people. hummed under their breath, and played ritualistically on the radio every 30 minutes. Mother Monster has performed perhaps her first large-scale spell for the whole world to witness, and they love her for it. Whether it's her passionate joining with Abramovic or for spirit cooking, where she engaged in ritual cannibalism, real or mimicked, still weird, her never-ending use of satanic imagery, or her support for literally every evil agenda that she can possibly find.
We vote for the future children whose voices have yet to be heard, the future voices who will inherit this home. Let's be real. You know
Yeah,
who I
that's a
voted for.
literal dress made of meat that she's wearing there. And again, this is just like one of those things where it's like, normal people don't do that. And you're just kind of like, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to be super radical, but you're being like radical in a way that kind of like goes against what you preach, which is like allegedly, you know, peace, love, harmony, be whoever you want to be, don't hurt each other. But then you have all of these music videos filled with violence, and you have this obsession with Marina Abramovic and spirit cooking, which is cannibalism. And then you also are now wearing a meat dress telling us to go vote for our kids' future. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing. But in the West, we haven't been allowed to believe that it's weird.
I've said a lot of things in a lot of different ways. Wearing a lot of different outfits, makeup, hats, dresses made out of meat.
People who are familiar with numerology will kind of see the emphasis on the number 7 when it comes to this album. And, you know, I'm a musician. I've written several albums over the course of like 10 years. Albums are kind of supposed to come out annually or biannually because record companies need to make money off of you. So the number of your album is always pretty important. And most musicians equate the number of their album with basically the era that they consider their artist self in. Whatever that era is that they're going through accompanying the release of their album. And Lady Gaga, for her 7th album, is in her Mayhem era. She's adopted this sort of dark, dull image, very black and white, very Getty Prime, very Harkonnen, very satanic. I'm just waiting for Baron Harkonnen to come out of the closet somewhere and levitate her or something. There's no longer a light side. It's only dark. And the lyrics have much to do in this album with sacrifice and false god worship. It's insane. Again, I'm just not doing an album review here, but maybe I should. But you can read them for yourself. I'm not here to do this sort of review, but rather to give you like an overall view of this Hollywood coven and their new little initiate, because it's just fascinating to see how these things come to be. And it's so rarely broadcasted on such a wide-scale commercial level. And I think in the future we're going to see some really bizarre stuff from Lady Gaga. And so I'm kind of calling attention to it because she's becoming one of these figures that is one with the dark side. She's becoming one of these witches who is not afraid of the camera. And that's very, very interesting because I wonder when she's going to sort of come out of this music era and become something much more dangerous. As if global witchcraft is not dangerous enough. Be careful out there. Everything is coming to the surface. How deeply are you entranced by the rituals? Don't drink the water. Question everything.
Do all the stories we've heard point to a natural end? No one knows for certain. But in the 19th century, Charles Dickens wrote, "Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, but if these courses be departed from, the ends will change." In such wisdom lies the real truth of prophecy. But whatever our futures, The power to change it rests firmly in our own hands.
You know, I know that this video makes it seem like this is a really big deal, right? Or like I think that it's a really big deal, but I don't. You know, it's my job right now to look at conspiracy theories and weird people and happenings and stuff like that. And this is such a groundbreaking album for one of the largest icons in our music industry of the modern times. So I figured it was a relevant dystopian topic. But in the end, there's witches everywhere, guys. And she's just one who just happens to have a pretty large following, and so she can weave her occult symbolism and whatnot into her music. But Lady Gaga isn't going to come out to get you. She's not, you know, she's not on her way to drink your children's blood or anything like that. And I don't want you guys to think that that's what I think. But she is a witch, and we talk about such things on this podcast. And so I just really wanted you guys to, you know, kind of hear that from me, so you knew that I'm not like some insane person who thinks that, you know, we have to, you know, march out there with pitchforks or anything. And you know, there's evil all over this place. All different types of evil, all different types of witches, all different types of magic. And she's just one example. This episode was kind of meant to give you a good overview of the fact that the whole system is corrupted, not just one person. And like I said before, when we go into Abramović, you'll see a lot of those people, because it extends beyond the music industry and goes into the realm of politicians and of, you know, government elites and social elites and all sorts of people in power. So what I'm trying to show here is that the very people we idolize are also contributing to the power of the beast, the monster that we are all fighting, that we're all up against. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for sticking around.
It was really a void of vanity. And as the blood rushed out of my body, how do I explain it?
They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy.
White people must take action to change ourselves. Simply by default, white people who look like me are taught that we are fine and everyone else, those other people, need fixing. I invite you to join me in unlearning this American narrative.
On the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
When and if folks who look like me commit to a lifetime of unlearning. I love you. Thank you so much.